back this week for another delicious recipe. It's the end of winter, spring is just around the corner, and I'm just dying to start eating fresh food again. And no, we don't have all this coming out of the garden because it is just March, but I went and I picked some stuff up from the store because I'm just wanting to have that big fresh salad. And this is one of my favorite salads, and I love this salad because it has so many really healthy, nutritious ingredients, but it's also the base for you to really be able to play with and get creative. Today we're not going to put protein in it. We're not aside from like nuts and seeds. We're not going to put like chicken or anything like that. But I love to use this as a base for grilled chicken as well. So there's so many different things you can do with this salad, and then you can package it up in individual containers and stack them all up in your refrigerator and have them for your lunches for the rest of the week. Because if I'm going to cut this many vegetables, I'm going to do a humongous bowl of it. And so I thought I would share this recipe with you guys this week. So first off, I thought I'll just kind of show you guys everything that's going into it. So of course we've got the green cabbage and the purple cabbage. We're going to shred it almost like you would if you're doing sauerkraut. We've got some red bell pepper. We've got celery and carrots and green onions. We've got, let's see, the lemon is for the salad dressing. We've got an avocado that you add in right at the end. We're going to put a bunch of fresh basil. I've got some canned corn. We're going to toast some walnuts and some sunflower seeds to put in there. I've got some hemp seeds, and then we'll make a dressing with that lemon and some olive oil and some fresh ground salt and pepper. So that's a lot of really delicious ingredients, but it is going to be a lot of chopping. Now we're going to start with the cabbage. So normally when I'm chopping this many things, I kind of use it as an opportunity. I'll turn on a podcast and sit and, you know, listen to some of the stuff I've been wanting to listen to while I'm doing all my chopping. But today I'm obviously not going to be turning on a podcast. The one thing I do want to say is I cannot guarantee this avocado. I went and bought 6 avocados to use for this week. 2 of them I was going to use for this tutorial, and when they all ripened, I can just feel that they're probably not good. Sometimes you get that batch of avocados that just ends up going in the trash. It is just not going to be a good avocado. So if I open that up and it's not good, then we're going to have to omit it from this tutorial. But actually the avocado is one of my favorite parts. It's a healthy fat. So if you don't see it in the pictures and you don't see it in this tutorial, that is why, because I don't have any more avocados. I thought I was doing good with buying 6. So when a lot of times when I do cabbage, I'll get my food processor out. So if you have a food processor, that is a way that you're going to save a lot of time. You can just put that right through the food processor, and in, you know, a minute it'll chop it up. And I'll grate my carrots a lot of times with the food processor as well. So actually, if you use a food processor, you could do this really, really quick. But mine is being borrowed right now, and so I'm just going to do the good old-fashioned technique of hand chopping everything. So if you have one though, you will definitely cut this project down to probably about 1/4 of the time. So we're going to get started with I'll start with the purple cabbage. So this made a lot of cabbage, so I only use, when I'm doing both purple and green cabbage, I only use half because that would be an incredible amount of cabbage. So we're done with that, and I love to use a big huge bowl like this because you can just fit so much in here, and then it's just so easy to mix it all with your hands. I don't dress the whole thing. I'll mix all the base ingredients, and then I'll show you what I do at the end to just do individual servings. But I love to start out with this big huge bowl. So I will link that in my blog. So if you want the printable recipe for this, go ahead and click the link below, and it will take you to the actual recipe where you can get amounts and print it out. So in that blog post, I will link a bowl like this. I just really love it. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with cabbage and then move on to the carrots. Now this is a smaller size cabbage, so I probably will do the whole thing because it'll probably equal about what 1/2 of a cabbage was, the purple cabbage. Now, I don't wash my cabbage. This thing is so tightly put together, there's no way anything's going to get inside. I'll just take the outer leaf off and I will kind of rinse out the outside, but then I don't worry about washing it anymore after that. So I'm just going to take the core out and then we're going to slice it. And in this recipe, to me, the key is everything needs to be really, really small, chopped very finely. And so I like to use a serrated knife, one that you can just slice this so much thinner than if I used like a butcher knife. So use a serrated knife and just slice it as thin as you possibly can. And that's why I like to grate the carrots, because that makes them really super thin. The bell pepper, everything just needs to be as thin as you can get it. So the green cabbage is done, so we're just going to dump it in with the red cabbage, and then we are going to grate the carrots. And I just am going to do that on a cheese grater, and that'll make them really nice and small little pieces. So you notice I didn't even peel the carrots. Like, you shred them, you can't even tell that the peel is still on them. So I just wash them and shred them up and just dump them in with the cabbage. And then I think I'm gonna do the celery next. The celery is not a taste that I want to be prominent in this salad, so I'm only doing 3 stalks of celery. If you really, really enjoy the taste of celery, go ahead and add more. I just don't like it to be the main flavor. So I like to chop it really, really super small, again, just like everything else. So I'll just cut each strip into several strips, and then I will chop it as small as I can, and then when I'm done I take my butcher knife and I go over it one more time just to get it really, really little. So we're going to do that real quick. So next we're going to do the bell pepper, and like everything else, we're going to cut this very, very small. The salad is growing by leaps and bounds, so we're going to add the corn. I just got canned corn that I drained, and then just dump that in on top of everything else. So we're going to take a break from the salad for a minute, and we're going to go ahead and toast our walnuts and our sunflower seeds. I'll just put them both on the same cookie sheet. And I'm just going to stick them in the oven under broil. I'm going to keep a really close eye on them because, you know, they'll burn quickly. So as soon as they're toasty, we'll take them out, and then we're going to chop the walnuts to a smaller size. So as soon as we're done with this, we'll continue on with the salad. So we're done with the main part of the salad. This is the base of the salad. And at this point, I stop. I don't add any of the rest of the ingredients, because it will just make the salad soggy and the nuts and the seeds won't be quite as crispy. So obviously we're not going to sit down and eat this all in one sitting. Like I said, I make a huge portion and then we have it for lunches throughout the week. So at this point, I mix all of this up and then I put it in a container and store it in the fridge. And then as soon as we're going to eat dinner or have lunches, then I'll take a portion of this out, however much we need, and I'll finish putting the rest of the ingredients and I'll dress it and we'll eat it right then. That's if we do it for dinner. If I'm doing it for lunches, I will mix this up and I'll get all my little individual containers that I send, like in Hans's lunch, and I like them because they're nice and rectangle and they stack up real nice in the fridge. So I can mix this up and then I can pre-fill those, and the rest of the toppings I will put in another little container, and at work, when right before he's ready to eat, he'll just take the nuts and the seeds and he'll dump them on top. He'll have the dressing, dump that on, and then he'll mix it himself, so it's a fresh salad every time. So yeah, you won't want to just put everything in here, because then how crispy and nice and toasty everything's going to be, it's just not going to make it as enjoyable. So I did go ahead and open up all those avocados, and every one of them was bad. All 6 of them were bad. I let them all ripen, and they, you know, I could tell by pressing on them that they weren't going to be good. So what I do with the avocado is at the very last, after I toss the salad with the dressing and everything's in it, I put it on the plate, then I'll slice up the avocados and I'll lay those nice on top and put some more salt and pepper on top of that. So the avocados I don't ever mix in the salad. They're just going to get mushy, and I just lay them right on top. Now if I'm sending it in a lunch for Hans, I'll cut the avocado in half and just send the half in a knife with him, and then he can slice it up right at the last minute and add it to his salad. So we're going to go ahead and mix this, and I think I'm going to, we will do the whole salad so you can see the whole salad put together for dinner tonight, and then the rest of it I'm going to pre-package so you can kind of see what it's like to get a bunch of lunches put together in your refrigerator. So the walnuts and sunflower seeds are done, so we're going to chop up the walnuts. We're going to mix this salad and get half of it into lunch containers, and then we'll continue on with the salad. I have a couple of different options that I like to use when I send lunches on the go, like with Hans to work. These are my favorite lunch bots, and I will link them on the blog that you can find these. But these are stainless steel, and they're not, you know, plastic that's leaching into your food, or just, you know, the toxic materials in a lot of the containers that you would send in a lunch. And the lid just pops off and on. So I love to send these, and since these are stainless steel, I'll do leftovers if it needs to be heated up. It can go right, Hans has a little mini toaster oven that he just plugs up on the job site, plugs in at the job site, and he can stick these in there as well. So whether it's for hot or cold, they work really well. The other option I like, these are just some Pyrex glass bowls, and so it's the same thing with like it, you know, being non-toxic. Now the lid is plastic, but the food doesn't ever really touch the lid. And so there's a large size, and then there's also a small size. They both have a lid. You can get these at Walmart or Target. I've seen them pretty much everywhere, and they usually come as a set of three bowls with 3 lids. So I'll link these as well. But I think I'm gonna make some salads in these ones today, stick them in the fridge for the rest of the week. But first I'm gonna put a portion in this bowl that will be for our dinner, and then I'll go from there. I might need to make more just because there's so much salad here. Might definitely overflow what I have here. So I just find that it's easier to just mix this with my hands. That's why I like this really big bowl, and that it's really wide also. It just makes mixing really super easy. So we'll just mix this up, and this may take a minute because there's a lot of ingredients and I want them all evenly distributed. Now, as I was saying, there's really no limit to what you could put in this mix. This is just the mix that I like to put together, but depending, you know, when in the summer when the garden's going and I've got lots of stuff, I'll just bring in whatever from the garden and I'll, you know, put it in this bowl as well. Now I have put regular lettuces or spinach, but because this is so, this cabbage, it will last a lot longer in the fridge than say lettuce. I won't necessarily mix the lettuce in here. Maybe I'll put some lettuce in the bowl, or I'll you know, add a little bit of lettuce in these and then put this on top. So I just wouldn't mix them together because it's just going to go bad a lot quicker, just because the lettuce, you know, doesn't last as long once you've cut it. So just feel free to add ingredients, even the toppings. I use hemp seeds and sunflower seeds and walnuts, but I, you know, have used other nuts. I have used pumpkin seeds and sprinkled a little bit of chia seeds for, you know, added nutrition, and toasted cashews would taste really good. So this is just the base, and you just have fun with it. The fresh basil I put on right at the end because that's not going to last. You know, if I cut that up and then I store this for 5 days, that's not going to last very long either. But even with what I was saying about just use your imagination, cilantro is really good. Dill, parsley, all the fresh herbs are super delicious in here. And even the dressing, I just use that oil and lemon, but you really could use anything you like. You could even do like a Chinese tasting salad dressing. So it just depends on what kind of salad dressing you go with, is what kind of flavor this will be. If you do like a Chinese salad dressing, I would even sprinkle some toasted sesame seeds, some sliced almonds. That would be really delicious too. And so one last tip, what I'll do a lot of times is when I make this, I will also plan to grill a bunch of boneless chicken pieces on the grill, and you can really grill it with any seasonings you want, so that's kind of open-ended as well. But I will grill a whole bunch of chicken and I'll put it in another container in the fridge, and then when we make these salads, I'll just grab out one piece of chicken, slice it up and lay it on top so you can get that extra protein. So you could do steak. So anyway, like I was saying, you can pretty much do anything you want with this salad. So I'm going to set aside a portion of this for dinner. So I don't think we're going to eat more than that. And then I'm just going to make some lunches. Make sure that you leave enough room for the other ingredients as well. I'm going to stop at this point with the lunch ones. Like I was saying, I'll go ahead and finish packaging up all the other ingredients in a separate container later. But for now, I'm just going to get these into the refrigerator, and we'll move on to finishing the salad that we're going to have for dinner. So if you notice, I mean, just how nice this is, and that hardly takes up any space in your refrigerator, and that is lunch for 5 days. So a lot of times I'll actually do this and it'll just be kind of like a side salad on the first day with something else. And then tomorrow night, say, I would grill chicken for dinner, and then for the rest of the week I'd be able to add the chicken on here. So it's kind of like I can put it together in parts and pieces. So I'm just going to set that over here and get back to this salad. So the basil, now I love to buy the plant of basil at the store, and I just bought this last night, so I need to get my pot. I usually have a pot, a big like flower pot, and I'll fill it with potting soil and stick this in it, because this is a living plant. I mean, you can take it right out of this container and stick it in there, and I'll keep it under the window, and it will grow huge, and I will just use it all summer. Instead of buying these over and over and using everything, I'll just plant it right here in the trailer. So you can do, if you really love basil, then just do a whole bunch. But I like to tear it. I don't like to cut it with a knife, because I feel like the cut parts, they start turning brown quicker. So it's just a real quick job to grab a bunch of however much you want for that meal. And then when I pack it for Hans's lunch, I'll just do something like, I'll take this off and I'll just lay it on top and then he can break it up into little pieces. So I'm going to put a bunch of basil in here, and then we'll move on to the nuts and the seeds. Okay, so I think that'll be enough. When I serve it, I could just lay a few more on top if I think it's not enough. So now this is hemp seeds, so I will just dump a bunch in there, and then I'm going to get the toasted nuts. I especially like walnuts in this salad. You could use any kind of nut, but I really like the walnuts. And raw sunflower seeds. Alright, so the finishing touches. We are going to squeeze some fresh lemon. I think because it's just this amount of salad, I'm just going to do a half a lemon. And if you roll your lemon, if they're kind of hard, it'll break it all up inside and it'll be really easy to squeeze them. And I especially love my citrus squeezer. I'll link this in my tools on my blog as well. Just however much lemon you like. I think that's about all I want. I don't want to get it too tart. I'm not a fond of super tart. Olive oil on top. And some fresh Himalayan salt. You can just, once you toss it, you can just add more lemon and oil and salt and pepper to taste. So dinner is ready to be served, and I just love a meal like this. I mean, look, I have a huge dinner. There's probably going to be leftovers of this, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat this big of a bowl. And then I have 5 lunches, and it's all just ready for the week, and it's going to be put into the refrigerator. And if you feel like you struggle with, you know, coming up with meals or getting food on the table every single night, and you're just kind of going day by day with your meal plan, I really encourage you to sit down and kind of construct a week and think like, what could I make for dinner on Monday morning or Monday night? And I could make enough and it could serve as all my lunches for the week. And then you start looking at that and you're like, hey, on Tuesday night I could grill some chicken and have like a baked potato and some vegetables, and then the chicken could be used for lunches as well. And you start getting into the rhythm of thinking broader than just what's for dinner tonight. And it really starts bringing the whole week together as far as like one meal flows into another meal. And if you watch very many of my videos, you'll notice that I'm kind of always thinking the step ahead of what I'm doing right now. Could it serve, like all this energy I'm putting into dinner, could this serve a bigger purpose than just feeding the family tonight? And so I just really enjoy doing that, and it lightens up the load for the rest of the week. And so I try to bring that to you guys, just little tidbits of information, little ideas to help lighten the load for your cooking week. So if you enjoyed this, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to click the link below to get a printable recipe of this salad. And in that blog post where you'll find that printable recipe, I'm going to also have a lot of different ideas that you could do with this salad, like the different things that I've kind of been throwing out there, like other things that would be good, you know, in this salad and on this salad and with this salad. And so I'm going to throw that all into a blog post, so it'll give you, you know, even more to think about. So if you enjoyed this and you love to get really good, delicious recipes, then go ahead and subscribe and click that little bell, because I post here every week and I bring delicious food to my channel. So you're not going to want to miss all that I bring. So go ahead and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.